Hi, I'm Travis Montague, founder and CEO of Holler, and this is Conversation Nation. I'm joined here with Chris Morris, who's a contributing writer at Fortune magazine, CNBC, and others. Thank you, Chris, for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Good. Are you excited to be XCES?
Yeah, this is 10 years of this show for me, so
Wow.
it's kind of a milestone, and there's so much going on here this year.
So you've seen it evolve all these years.
Yeah.
Everything. You remember the days when social media wasn't a thing, and e-commerce wasn't a thing, and now here we are today. And so as you're coming into this season, what are you most excited about?
I don't know. I think what's really catching my eye so far at this show is the emphasis we're seeing on content, on streaming services. The focus at CES for so many years has been on tech products like TVs and e-readers and things like that. But find that focus, that technology is shifting over to the content itself, and that's pretty interesting to me.
So we're definitely seeing a shift. Is there anything about content creation that you think that's going to massively change in 2020 with these platforms?
I think what we're going to start to see is not only more streaming content, but I think it's going to start to change the business model of those industries, just really going down to the fundamental core. Let me go back to the video game space. You're starting to see a Netflix bundling of content from them. So this is an industry that has charged $60 per title and then $30, $40 in add-ons and stuff like that. All of a sudden, you're shifting to a $10, $15 a month all-you-can-eat platform. Mm-hmm. That's a big shift, and that's going to kind of shake up how that industry runs. And so it'll be real interesting to see how it maneuvers through all of that.
Switching gears to from the gaming side to
Yep.
the streaming side on the like the Netflix, Disney, etc. What is the key to winning in that space?
I mean, ultimately it comes down to content. You've got to have something that people want to watch. And Netflix was smart about this early on. I think they saw that Disney and Time Warner and other people would be coming up with their own services since theirs was so successful. So that's why they began spending so heavily on original content. Who will shake out in the end, it's kind of a big question. You can't bet against Disney on something like this. I mean, This is their playground.
Yeah.
But there are other services that are starting also. Later this week, they're going to talk about Quibi, which is Jeffrey Katzenberg and Meg Whitman. Their new streaming service, which is only for cell phones. It's only meant to go to the phone. It's not something that goes to the TV. And it's little short 10-minute episodic content that they have some of the biggest filmmakers working on. So like Steven Spielberg is working on a thing for this small service that not a lot of people have heard of so far. And it's $6 a month. But the risk that you have with all of these services is at some point fatigue's going to set in.
Yeah.
Instead of spending $100, $200 a month on your cable bill, you're spending that much for Netflix and Amazon and Disney Plus and Quibi and HBO Max and all the others that are out there, Peacock that's coming up. So when people start paring back from that, they're going to look at what am I watching the most.
So Netflix obviously is a binge model. So they released the whole series at one time, and then people blaze through that content, which requires them to continue to churn out a lot of content. Versus where the Disney Plus approach, where they follow the approach of releasing one episode a week, which if you have one hit like The Mandalorian and it has 10 episodes, if you want to watch the whole season, you have to at least subscribe to that service for at least 2.5 months. And I'm wondering if Netflix's model is going to have to evolve if the other players are doing that, just because it becomes impractical from a cost perspective to produce that much.
I see your point. I think it's a good one, actually. But I think the counterpoint to that is Netflix has been around longer. And so people are used to binging shows. And so I think you're going to see people sort of play with both of those models.
Well, I have a fun question for you.
Okay.
What was the last emoji that you used?
The last emoji that I used, it was probably just a smiley face. Kind of boring, I know, but...
What was the story behind that?
Just making a smart-ass remark in a text and making sure that people know that was just meant as a joke, please don't hate me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, thank you for coming on. Great conversation.
Absolutely.
And I hope you enjoy the rest of your CES.
Great. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.